Okay, have and have not fans. Now, this is going to be a continuation of my string of theory videos after the mid-season finale. This has been one of the more popular video topics people have been tweeting me about, and it has to do with Melissa and the fact that her father passed away and the bed is drenched in a pool of blood. So, I guess the title of this video, a good title would be, Is Melissa Damaged Goods Now? I mean, I don't really know the whole process of pregnancy in terms of, what really occurs during the 9 months. I mean, I learned a little bit in biology, but that was years ago. And I didn't feel like Googling anything. And by didn't feel like it, I mean, it's the internet. So anything you type in, you're probably going to find something you don't want to see. So I will put it this way. When I was a kid, I remember my mom used to watch Girlfriends. You know that show, the one that had Tracy, Ellen Ross, and then the other three girls. Wow, that was a great show. William, he was hilarious. Yeah, I remember that show. Basically, it was the episode, I believe it was Maya. She was pregnant with her second child. I think Jabrari, that was the son. And then I forgot the husband's name. But basically, she was a writer. What was the book? Was it Oh Hell Yes or Hell Yeah? It was something like that. And there was a sequel she had to write or meet a deadline. She was stressed out. And she was so stressed to the point that there was like a pool of blood on the floor. And that's pretty much what I connected the Melissa situation with. The fact that she had so much stress going on, learning her dad passed away. Not to mention the whole being under the thumb of Veronica, essentially just almost like a doll. I guess that's the only way I could think of, breaking it down, because she was bought. I really don't want to say slave, but that's really how Veronica's treating her. So I can't even imagine all the emotional stress she's going through right now. That combined with the pregnancy, that's probably why, the bed was bloody like it was. So this video really has to do with, what's going to happen in the back half of the season. Will we find out that the baby isn't going to be born properly, or did the baby pass away? Just something to that effect. Kind of like we see Quincy Jr. is potentially dead, and the same might happen to the unborn baby of Jeffrey and Melissa. So honestly, that's a kind of a good way to tie the ends together. Because if you notice a trend in the haves and have-nots, usually what happens on the have side of things generally happens on the have-nots. Maybe not at the same time. Just like the whole Benny have-not was in the hospital because why? And then next thing you know, because of his have not ways, Wyatt, in terms of, drinking, smoking, drugs, all that stuff, Wyatt was in a coma as well. So I just really wanted to do this video kind of breaking down my thoughts on it. And here's what I kind of think, because again, Jeffrey was freaking out. And here's another thing. It's hard to, I'm kind of at a loss for words here, because I'm pretty sure you all know what I mean. It's kind of hard to figure out who to feel sorry for in the show. Like way back in season 1, we all thought Jeffrey was a creep, not necessarily because he was homosexual, but the way he was running up on Wyatt, trying to climb in bed with him, just little stuff like that. And you really didn't feel sorry for his character. Then you find out when he comes out to his mom and dad how bad Veronica was treating him. Then you start to feel sorry for the guy. Now you look at Melissa, and honestly, at first glance, she was a motor mouth trying to get Jeffrey drunk so they can have sex. And, that was all a ploy by Veronica. And then later on, after Amanda's funeral, you find out that, hey, your mom took my family's business. She's the one who's pulling the strings on my dad's medicine, because without the medicine, he won't live to survive his, I believe it's cancer. And she has to do exactly what Veronica wants. And honestly, this video is going to be kind of a breakdown, not only of Melissa's situation now, but honestly what's going to happen later on in terms of whether or not they're going to get married. So kind of strap yourselves in, because this might be a longer video than I originally anticipated. So I'm going to try not to get tongue tied again here, because there's a lot of information to cover. And we learned that Veronica, is the witch. I believe it was once stated that Melissa's mom kind of agreed to the situation and pushed her into it. So I don't know if I don't really think that Melissa's mom is on the same level of maliciousness as Veronica, but she's pretty much up there, while her dad seems to be almost like a David character, because I've always wondered if Melissa's dad, if he knew about the situation that that his daughter was in, to save his life, would he rather just keel over from lack of medicine than seeing his daughter throw her life away just, to save his life? I don't think so, because we almost met the dad at the engagement party at Veronica's house before the situation where, Catherine shot and killed Jennifer Salison and got into multiple fights with Veronica, because we almost saw him then. So he was, I wouldn't say he was alive, not fully well, but well enough to the point where he could, go out from the hospital. And then after Veronica gets back from, the Catherine situation, Melissa asks hey, my dad, we checked the hospital bills, they weren't paid, so his medicine wasn't given to him. And she said that, hey, my son's not here yet. You haven't done what I wanted. You do what I want, you'll get the medicine. So essentially, just like when Candace didn't call the hospital, 911 in order for them to come get Quincy, because remember, Quincy woke up saying, hey, call the hospital so I can get help because I'm bleeding out. She just let him die. And because of that, Quincy Jr. didn't get the medicine that was in his pocket that would have saved his life. That's why he got rushed to the hospital later on. Now you look at this situation, Veronica had the power to get the medicine to help Melissa's dad, but instead she just let things, just play out the way they did, and he died. So again, just comparing the situations of the haves and the have-nots, and you'll see that they're really intertwined. So that's why you really got to pay attention to these different events during the course of the series. I know there's a lot to keep up with, but at the same time, you'll see that on one side of the tracks, a situation will happen, and maybe later on down the line, the same situation will happen for another character. And honestly, you might want to almost consider Melissa a have-not because of the situation she's in. Yeah, she seems to be, I guess you could say, before her family's company went bankrupt and whatnot, the business, she might have been a little more better off than, let's say, Benny and Candace in terms of, their upbringing. But at the same time, she seemed to be almost like a Jeffrey level character in terms of psychology, because she said she went to school. She almost finished up. I believe she said psychiatrist or something. I don't believe it was a lawyer, because was it lawyer? I don't know. It's like every female character in this show is trying to be in law or something. But yeah, just based off the way she was speaking to Jeffrey in the last episode, she almost seemed like, him in terms of being a counselor. And it's really cool to see those little moments where you see the humanity in the character, where, when Melissa first told Jeffrey the situation of why she was doing what she was doing, but then she pretty much lashed out at him at the Sarandon Hotel about, hey, you're going to have an abortion. And then she's like, no, I'm not having an abortion. And really, I was kind of mad, because instead of Jeffrey flying off the handle, back then those two could have come up with a plan to, fend off Veronica. It's like, hey, I'll help you get out of the situation if you help me get out of the situation. So instead of butting, that's pretty much a negative side effect of a lot of characters, where if they only work together, they could overcome an obstacle, but instead they pretty much fight each other instead of fighting the common enemy. And that's what leads them down to the path that they are now. So it really did make me a little sick in the inside, the way Jeffrey was treating her. But then again, you have to look at the guy. I mean, based off everything that's happened the past couple of seasons, it's almost like everybody who's linked to his mother in some way has ill intentions towards him. Veronica was the one to send Quincy after him. Veronica was the one to send Melissa after him in order to get, a grandchild and force him to be heterosexual in terms of, hey, you're going to get married to a woman, you're going to have a grandbaby, and you're going to live the way I want you to live. So it's understandable that he would still have animosity towards her, because again, at the end of the day, Veronica wasn't the one in bed with him. Like Melissa could have said no. Yes, I understand that it was for a family. Yes, I understand it will save, not only the company, but, her dad's life, but nobody forced her in that situation. She could have told him the truth the night they met up. So I can see, honestly, because I would be pissed off too, if a girl did me like that, because I've never really opened with people. So for a girl just to kind of come on to me like that and use me, I wouldn't trust her at all. But again, she seemed very sincere in terms of, hey, asking Jeffrey what's wrong. You can go out with that guy if you want to. So, she was just trying to be nice. And after the way Veronica was let's put it this way. Let's pretend my mom was Veronica. She had a girl come up on me in order to be in the situation Jeffrey's in. Not to say I'm gay. Let's just say that she wanted a grandchild, because again, I'm in no rush to get married. I haven't even found a girlfriend yet, So let's just pretend, because I have an older sister, and hey, you're getting a history lesson on me. I have an older sister who has a baby, so technically my mom already has a grandchild, but let's say she wanted me to have a grandchild for her. So she sets it up with an arranged encounter with a female, and she gets pregnant by me, and then I'm pissed off. I wouldn't want to have anything to do with her. But if I see the way my mom treats the girl in front of me, the way Veronica was talking to Melissa, I'll be kind of, apologetic, if you will, kind of sympathetic. Maybe not full on, hey, I trust you, but, just kind of say, hey, you don't deserve what you're going through. And I guess Melissa took on the weight of the stress that Veronica was giving her, and then trying to reflect on Jeffrey's like, I can't believe you're not a serial killer being raised by a woman like that. And she even kind of hinted that, hey, she's about to fall asleep, so we can try to knock her off now. I get the money, and then I'm gone. And it's kind of weird how Jeffrey's like, I'm not going to do anything to my mother. And I'm like, well, you kind of stabbed her, so I don't see where killing. And it's like, what? You're already on the whole Quincy murder, so why not just add another body to the list, Not to say that, I'm all for killing, but at the same time, somebody got to put the bitch down, right? So, hey, what got to be done, got to be done. And I kind of chuckled to myself when, not to jump off topic, it was when towards the end of the episode where Hannah was talking to Benny and Mitch about, what happened with Quincy, and she didn't want to believe that Jeffrey Harrington had anything to do with it. And I'm like, well, Hannah, you saw Jeffrey fly off the handle and stab his mother. So is it too much to believe that he would do the same thing to Quincy? Maybe she didn't know the entire situation of, well, I don't think she knows that, hey, Jeffrey came in and saw what was happening and reacted, not to mention that, Quincy almost killed him before. So there's that aspect of it. So kind of just ending the video here. Melissa, we really need to see what's going to happen next, because with her dad dead, she has no reason to still have the baby when you really think about it. She's going to be hell-bent on revenge at this point, because again, it's Veronica's fault for not giving him the medicine. Then you have to look at the other side of the table. Okay, well, her family's business is still in jeopardy. So if she decides not to do what Veronica wants, then her and her mom are going to be in the poorhouse and without her dad. So she's going to be worse off from when she started. So it really lies down to the end of my theory of what I think might happen. I mean, Veronica might just put it into it where if she finds out the baby's health was jeopardized because of what happened, she's going to be like, you're damaged goods, I don't need you anymore. Or maybe she's going to make Jeffrey have sex with her again, or just pick a new girl in order to start over this cycle. Very sick cycle, but hey, it could happen. So I think at the end of the day, here's what I really wanted to happen. I really want Melissa and Jeffrey to get all the way to the altar at the church and get married. Maybe not get married. You know how it is in the movies where they're about to say, if anybody objects, and there's always that cliffhanger. I feel like that would be the cliffhanger of a season or something, or an episode, where I don't think Wyatt will be the one to, because he's not gay. He's not gay. Let's just say it was like Justin or somebody like that. I feel like that would be interesting, where it will be publicly known, because Jim and Catherine were like, hey, everybody already knows he's gay. So it will be just delicious irony. And I know a lot of people want Veronica dead, but I feel like this would be worse than death, for her to have public humiliation, because David's already put in the paper that, there's going to be a divorce. And I just feel like all that stuff put together would be the best way to have her fall. I mean, yeah, it's one thing to just shoot her, it's one thing to just stab her, but that just to have her public image torn down, I feel like that's the worst way to hurt Veronica. That's just my opinion. So with that being said, I'm going to bring this video to an end, and please, as always, comment, subscribe, like, and share. What do you think is going to happen to Melissa at this point forward? Because really, it's almost as if she has nothing left to lose, because her dad was the reason she did all of this. But if the baby's gone, or if the baby, is going to be born improperly, what's going to happen next? So again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll talk to you all later.